What's up? It's your boy D Change coming at you with another Daily Dave. So, yesterday I stated that this month is AAPI month, Asian American Pacific Islander month. It is also apparently Mental Health Awareness Month. Gotta share it, because Asians gotta deal with their mental traumas. Now that's a stereotype that I don't want to perpetuate. Um, but mental health is actually something that's pretty. I wouldn't necessarily. I don't want to like attribute um, too much weight, but it is fairly relevant to me, near and dear to me. Only in the sense that I did study psychology in college because I was interested in the human mind and human behavior. I did not have the intestinal fortitude to continue education in order to work in clinical psych, or even continue whatever I was studying, which was cognitive sciences and not psychology and social behavior, which was the correct major at my school if you wanted to go into clinical. But it's like mental health and stuff like that in general is something I believe that doesn't get enough attention, both here in this country and I guess just in general. And so it's nice to see more options for people to, I guess, to kind of deal with their demons and to kind of explore, specific topics that might be the root causes of their problems, right? So I guess what was spawned by this, or well, first of all, I came across there's this YouTube channel / Twitch channel called Healthy Gamer. It's Healthy Gamer GG. I'll probably just pop the links in the description. But this guy's name is Dr. Oh no, I don't want to get his name wrong. Dr. K. He has a proper name. Dang it, okay, I'm like typing stuff, I'm not getting it. But Dr. Alok Kanoja, and he is a licensed, I'm pretty sure he's a licensed therapist. I'd be a little disappointed if he wasn't, but he actually specializes in video game addiction, which is why I was first interested in him. A friend of mine and I guess came across some of his videos and kind of went back and forth about him. Just briefly talked about him. He has like a series that like a lecture series that goes over video game addiction and I think steps you can take to kind of mitigate it. No, to figure out if you have it, and steps you can take to kind of accept yourself and get over it. But at the same time, he also does this thing where he live streams on Twitch, talks he has with famous like streamers, gamers, personalities, and they're basically therapy sessions. It's literally him unpacking like what feels like huge problems for these people, and it just kind of made me realize how like kind of broken they are. But at the same time, it's the point of these is actually for him to allow us to realize that we're all broken in some way. We've all experienced trauma of some sort growing up, and being able to confront that again and to resolve issues is part of growing up, is part of mastering our mental capabilities, is part of integrating into society and living our lives, right? So I really appreciate what he does do. Today's live stream was with a very famous streamer. She's probably the most famous female Twitch streamer, Pokimane. I mean, she consistently averages like high thousands counts of viewers. I remember when the Valorant beta keys came out, she was one of the top names up there as well. And what's really cool is she actually donated a bunch of money to my alma mater, UCI. She helped set up the she helped fund one of the like esports scholarship programs there. And so I thought that was really cool. Like I know barely anything about her. I guess I unfortunately had some sort of preconceived notion of what she did because of like all these, all these cherry picked instances of female Twitch streamers kind of just doing their thing with the, with the like the cleavage, the low cut shirts, and kind of acting certain ways. But yeah, I mean, I didn't really go too far into like making a judgment about her, but I remember seeing that and I thought, wow, that's like really cool, I know that she lives in like the streamer house with like Lily Pichu and some of those other famous streamers or popular streamers in that community. So if you don't know what I'm talking about, it's totally fine. This is definitely not a mainstream thing. But anyway, she had this talk with Dr. K at Healthy Gamer, and they really worked to kind of unpack her like her thoughts about dissatisfaction and burnout, and kind of like, like I think you would assume that if you had celebrity status of some sort and people had so much access to you, it's going to be very overwhelming, right, for your mental health. I mean, things like Twitch and Twitter, like the thing about celebrities I find really interesting is that yes, they have so many eyes on them. If you're talking about like traditional Hollywood celebrities, yes, they have so many eyes on them, but in a way a lot of them can just kind of retreat to their mansions, or just they can just hide outside of the movie screen, outside of television, and outside of their PR circuit. They could just disappear. A lot of them have the means to do that. But for like Twitch streamers and especially Twitch streamers, like live streaming is literally you're living allowing people to observe you during that time. And if you're a full-time streamer, like you could be streaming 8 hours a day, 12 hours a day. Some of them do like 16. It can easily take over your life. And so it was really interesting to kind of get her perspective on what was bothering her. I mean, what I really liked was that she kind of I mean, it's more than just, oh my gosh, I'm so famous or whatever. It's not that. It's the fact that she comes from an immigrant family. Her parents like came from Morocco. They settled in Canada, and she moved to the US. And there's just a lot of unresolved issues related to like, just intense experiences of having to deal with to I guess to just deal with life with two cultures, not meeting expectations, not wanting to hurt the feelings of your family members. Just a lot of stuff that like I feel like my peers and I can relate to, since I do have so many friends that are also children of immigrants. And yeah, because the idea is you come here for a better life, and if you come here from another country that wasn't doing so hot during that time, you just hope your kids will be able to get a steady job and succeed. But then they become some sort of like creative. They do this. They do art. They do stuff that like isn't traditionally super stable, and you just worry about them, right? That's a natural response, I think, but it's definitely a large contrast to the culture of home, and then the culture of here, the new place you're in. Not to mention like the class divide, the differences between industries and societal pressures and all that stuff, right? It's just a completely new world, so to speak. So I really appreciate that, he's able to, and that these streamers like want to have these conversations on air, that they're willing to put this out there. They're in very vulnerable positions. Typically therapy is something that is very private. So I don't know if he truly calls these like actual therapy sessions. I don't think he really does. I think he calls them talks. But it's the questioning that you would experience in a therapy session. And so, yeah, I just thought it was super cool. I was like, I had the stream on like all day. I was like glued to it because it was on for a while. Like they talked for a while, and then he did like a Q&A afterwards. And yeah, it's super cool to see like psychologists and psychiatrists actually in action. Because I've gone to counseling before, and it made me realize there is so much value to being asked the right questions and having someone listen to you. Because it's not necessarily like you definitely want friends that you can talk to about your issues. But there is this kind of a fine line when it comes to professionals. Like I just feel like, they're trained in this. So I feel like they just know what to say and what to ask you at the right times. And that matters a lot. And what's also true is, just like any other service, it might take time to find the right therapist as well. So today I just found out that it's Mental Health Awareness Month, and it is near and dear to me, and I think it's an important thing. So if you feel like you need to talk to someone, there are plenty of resources out there, and I'll go ahead and link the Wirecutter article, since I don't know, I just love going to Wirecutter because I want my decisions made for me. I don't want I'm not like I don't a lot of times I feel like I don't want to do a bunch of research when someone else has technically already done it for me. Now I get the whole argument that it's like affiliate links and sponsorships, and so they might just be plugging stuff that's that they get a cut from. But it's a good launching point. Like if you just seriously just don't want to make a decision, go to Wirecutter and pick up the thing that they recommend. But it's a good starting point, as in, like, they recommend these things for certain reasons. Can you find alternatives? Maybe, maybe not. So I'll link the article where they talk about online therapy, because I was surprised. Most people talk about BetterHelp, and I think they mentioned that they actually have a section that kind of explains why they didn't particularly mention BetterHelp. BetterHelp sponsors a lot of podcasts, so I hear the ad all the time. So I've been tempted to actually use it, and I know people who have used it and they vouch for it as well. But that's the thing. Like it is your choice after all. It's up to you to sign up for it or not. Just keep in mind that, like, therapy in the States, I believe, is still tied to like state licensing. So even though it's like online, you still have to kind of adhere to, like, do I live in this state? Then I can get this therapist. So it's kind of like, okay, interesting. It's like the I don't know, the medical sector not catching up with the tech sector, that type of laws and stuff like that. Anyway, yeah, so I think, like, this is a good service to people. Like, I realize that this is really cool because this is actually a combination of two things that I actually really cherish: psychology and video games. And, like, yeah, maybe I don't actively study psychology or preach it or anything like that anymore, but it's still, still something I find really interesting. And I bet you that, my mom's gonna, like, walk into my room one day and be like, "Have you considered going back to school?" Oh man, not likely, but yeah, it's still, trying to understand yourself and others is I think it's valuable. It's something that I've always been interested in, so that's why I went into that field of study. It did not particularly prepare me for employment, but ironically, I can see how psychology can be used for marketing, and marketing is also, I feel like, a fairly misunderstood field. It encompasses a lot, but most people think about, I think, advertising being the main thing about marketing. And I think similarly, Dr. K was actually talking about one image problem that psychology and psychiatry have is purely the idea that it's, like, not as good of a science. There's a lot of pseudoscience out there, so it's not like it's undeserving criticism, but it's tough on the practitioners as well, because they realize that there's a perception of them and how they practice that, like, they're just not as good as their older brother, older sister, etc. doctors. I mean, I even remember when my dad was, like, talking to me one day and was like, you've decided to do the psychology thing, huh? And I'm like, yeah, it's what I want to study. And he was like, yeah, it's nice that you want to study it. It's just I think it would probably be better if you actually chose like a hard science or something. And like, damn. And you know, he's not wrong in the sense that like if I went into a hard STEM field, gainful employment might have been easier to get into. But that's the thing, like we don't know. It's life might be a game of statistics, but what about when you lose all of your what about when you actually like fail all of your what your odds? I don't know. Like doesn't it suck if you're like my odds are this like I don't know 1 in 6 chance or something like that for each application I make, and then what if you just like what if you like lose all of them, right? Doesn't that make you feel like a complete loser? Like I don't know. I'm going off of like okay yeah sure we can go off probability and statistics all the time if we wanted to. But that's a very cold hard way to live life. I feel like. It is very safe, I guess. More often than not, you'll win as long as you're picking the right odds, right? So I don't know, you know. I mean, how many people move from the States to Japan and then stay there or enjoy it or whatever, right? I don't know. Like, sometimes it's a little silly to quantify it and apply it to yourself. It makes sense in a group setting when you're willing to just like kind of talk about a population, I guess. So I don't know. But at the same time, you know, during a pandemic, you also crunch some numbers and go, well, you have a 1 in this chance of getting sick. You have a 1 in this chance of going critical. You have a 1 in this chance of dying. And those are things you want to know as well. So the choice is never easy, I guess is the moral of the story. But go get therapy. I don't know. Talk it out. Keep your mental health healthy. We always talk about physical health. I'm pretty sure the two are linked. Keeping your body fit, healthy, fed well is good, but keeping your mind sharp, you know, consistently going through a practice to kind of clear it out and, you know, not be too stuck with unresolved issues, I think is a good thing to do. So yeah, anyway, so if I find out more stuff about mental health awareness or Asian American Pacific Islander stuff, which I do have, I will talk about in another video, then I will mention that for the month of May. And actually, no, I would mention it any time of the year, because why do we have to designate just a month for this stuff, right? So I hope you're all doing well. Hope you're staying safe. Take care. Peace out. I will see you in the next one.